Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Audit Committee meeting on Monday, September 29th, 2025. We don't have any delegations. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? There being none, we have one item, and that is our external audit planning report for fiscal year 2025. And I will turn it over to, well, we have delegations, and we have Janal Vanhee, Janal, okay, good, pronounce that right, and Courtney Shield from KPMG, and then of course from staff, we have Jonathan Lautenbach, Katie Fisher, and Greg Damasio here. So with that, am I turning it over to you, Greg, to start, or directly to them? Okay, Janal and Courtney, welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for letting us be here today to present our audit plan for the 2025 year-end audit. As you can see, Matthew's not here.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I think your microphone isn't.
Oh.
Is it on? Maybe we just need some volume then, please.
Okay. I don't know if I do that. That's better? Perfect.
Your microphone's not lighting up, which is why I think the problem is.
Okay.
Should their microphone be lighting up? No? Only ours lights up? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Good? Okay. No worries. So as you can tell, Matthew's not here today. He's on a well-deserved sabbatical, so he'll be back with the engagement team in November. So myself, Courtney, and Janelle will present the audit plan this year. Let me just go to. So this is our audit highlights page. We'll go through these points in detail in the next few slides. So the first slide is just updates to our prior year audit plan. As you can tell, there's no new significant changes to our audit plan. The only thing to note is there are a couple new auditing standards that we are implementing. They really deal with the communication to you relating to independence, which we'll go into more detail below. So materiality is used to determine at what amount we believe could influence the economic decisions of the users of the financial statements. This is normally between 1% to 3% of total revenues. We do design our procedures using a much lower level of, lower quantity to determine what our procedures are, as well as to identify any misstatements. If there's any misstatements that are 5% of materiality, we will report these to you in our audit findings report. So the number will seem large, but really our audit is a lot lower, on a lower scale. So for this year, our materiality is $13.5 million. This is up $500,000 from prior year, but that's purely because revenues are increasing each year. The benchmark is consistent at 2.2% compared to last year at 2.4%. And if there is any misstatements that are above $675,000, we will report those to you. So this slide talks about the involvement of others. So we do rely on management specialist Mandelis for the future employee benefits obligation calculation. This is consistent with prior years, and we do perform testing over any underlying data that's used in their calculation. So for our audit, we do consider the audit a group audit, and this is because there are other entities that are consolidated within the main city's operations. These are Center in the Square, the library, as well as the BIAs. Due to the size of these, we aren't doing any additional work on these for the audit, but KPMG does standalone audits on these at a much lower materiality. So I'll now let Janelle talk about the risks.
So as we begin our audit planning, we first have to perform a risk assessment to assess the risks of material misstatement of the financial statements. So consistent with prior year, we have management override of controls as a risk of fraud. We have post-employment benefits as a risk of error, tangible capital assets as a risk of error, and obligatory reserve funds and deferred revenue as risk of error. So we consider management override of controls a significant risk, and this is consistent with all audits, and this is a non-rebuttable significant risk. And this is due to management being in a unique position to have the opportunity to perpetuate fraud. So there are some procedures we perform to assess this risk, including testing of journal entries and other adjustments, performing a retrospective review of estimates, and evaluating any significant unusual transactions. Some other areas of risk of material misstatement that we assess include post-employment benefits. We've assessed this as an elevated risk, and this is due to it being a significant estimate which requires judgment. For this, we communicate with the management specialist, the actuary. We assess the reasonableness of assumptions used. We test the underlying data used for the valuation. And we also use the work of the actuarial specialist in our audit of accounts and disclosures. The next area we assess is tangible capital assets, and we've assessed this as a base risk. For this, we discuss capitalization policies with management. We test a sample of capital asset additions and disposals. We test a sample of repairs and maintenance to ensure the completeness of the capital asset additions, and perform some stand-up analytical procedures over amortization. The next category is obligatory reserve fund revenue and deferred revenue, and this has been assessed as an elevated risk. For this, we perform some stand-up testing over amounts being recognized as revenue, and we perform some stand-up testing over the development charges recorded in the deferred revenue account.
So on this page is our required inquiries of the audit committee. And so for every audit, we are required to ask questions about any fraud or suspected fraud or any illegal acts that you're aware of. We do have a separate meeting with the mayor to go over this each year, so I won't go through this today, but just also want to let everyone know that if you do want to speak to us about any of that, we're more than happy to. So on this page is our key milestones and deliverables. So we have done our planning and risk assessment procedures so far. Our interim work will be between October and December. And then March and April is when our final field work is, and we'll be meeting with you in June to go over our audit findings. On the next couple of pages are just about our commitment to audit quality and how we deliver audit quality. I won't go into detail, but the slides are there for your information. So if we go to the indicators of audit quality, so these are 3 items that we look at to determine how our audit quality was, and we'll report to you in our findings report. So on team composition, our experience in your organization as well as municipalities, technology we use, as well as the timeliness and of the prepared by client items. On the next few pages, this talks about our independence. So we do have noted the services that we are providing, and we do note that they are, even doing these, we do still have independence from the city. And then the last multiple pages are our appendices. So this is just some information for you. So I won't go into into detail for those. So if there's any questions, we are happy to answer those now.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Davey.
Yeah, thank you. Just this, yeah, this is usually the spot where people don't ask very many questions, but I did notice in the report that KPMG is beginning to implement artificial intelligence in their auditing process. I was wondering if you could just speak in terms of how you see that might be applying to the audit work you're doing for the City of Kitchener.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that? It was a bit crackly.
Oh, sorry. I just, short version, I noticed KPMG's using artificial intelligence now to help with the audit process, and I was just wondering how you might see that, how you might see that be implemented with some of the work you're doing for us.
So a few things that we do use is we do have our own chat bot that helps us with our audit methodology as well as just ensuring the audit quality of our work. And we can ask questions about the methodology, about the standards. We also have, I would say it's in the early stages, but we do have a program called MindBridge where they can go through all of the transactions, and based on AI can identify what transactions are high risk, medium risk, and low risk. And what we do is we concentrate just on the high risk and the medium risk transactions. And so that will tend to lower the sample size of a lot of our sampling procedures.
That's excellent, thank you. I'm not sure, my only other question, I'm not sure it's for you or for staff, but I thought I saw in the report the asset value at like $2.5 billion, but I know their total assets are much higher than that. I'm just wondering, I'm missing what that discrepancy is.
Katie?
Yes, through the chair. So when you're thinking the asset value, you're likely thinking asset replacement value, which is what we use in asset management planning. From the financial statements perspective, they are based on historical value. So if we built, a road 40 years ago, it would be at that historical cost, not today's value of what the cost of the road would be. And so typically the financial statement asset value is much lower than what would be the future replacement value.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, like a third, 2/3 lower, actually, I think, something like that. Thank you.
Any other questions? There don't appear to be any. So, is that it?
That's it then.
That's it. Wow. This will be like almost the shortest meeting in history. So thank you to both of you for coming. Oh, okay, Councillor Davies moving the recommendation. I don't need a no, I don't need a seconder at committee. All those in favor? Hold on, I got to turn on. Let's do that again. I got to turn on the little camera. No, wrong one. Sorry, you had it on. Thank you. We'll get this right by the time we get to 7 o'clock. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, everyone. And we're adjourned.